Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. Happy Thanksgiving to our U.S. listeners. On today's show, we're preparing for 2022. I find that towards the end of the year, people often get an uneasy feeling that there's only a few weeks remaining in the year. Many of the goals that were set at the beginning of 2021 remain incomplete. You might be traveling home to visit family, unsure of how to answer the question, how has your year been? Really, how has it been? This is a time when you might be thinking about the upcoming year, wondering when you'll find the time to set goals for the upcoming year. If you're like most people, you won't set any goals at all. After all, if you don't set goals, you can't fail. I take the time to set goals every year. In fact, most years I host a transformational goals retreat that we hold on the beach in Mexico on the Mayan Riviera. But this year we decided instead to host a corporate retreat where we'll spend 4 full days on goal setting and planning for our entire organization. This will set us up extremely well for next year. In preparation for those 4 days, there's a bunch of work that we'll be doing to get ready. We're taking the whole company to the resort town of Banff, Alberta, up in the Rocky Mountains, getting away from the office and getting into a breathtaking, inspiring environment. You can't go into goal setting, at least you can't do it effectively, with no preparation. And on today's show, we're going to talk about the first step in preparing for goal setting for 2022. The first step is to run a retrospective on the past year. Look back on 2021 and look at the goals that you had set for the start of this year. Back in January of 2021, we were still in the middle of a pandemic. Vaccines were at the start of their rollout, and people were still widely working from home unless their job required their physical presence. There was optimism that things would return to normal by the spring or early summer. So how did 2021 turn out for you? What were your accomplishments? What are you proud of? What were your wins? What are you grateful for? Take the time to write these things down, reflect on them. What were the ingredients that made you successful in 2021? Then you also want to look at what were the challenges in 2021. If you read the news, there were plenty of them out there in the public domain, but maybe you had some challenges in your personal life or your business life. What were the items that you would consider to be setbacks? They might be in business or health or relationships or socially. The objective here is not to beat yourself up about all the things you wish you had done, could have done, and didn't do. There's no morality being applied to this exercise. There's nothing wrong here. You're not bad or a failure. You want to approach this exercise from a point of emotional neutrality. You did what you did. You didn't do what you didn't do. That's it. What you're looking for in this exercise is the gold. And if you've ever mined for gold, you know that only a few ounces of gold are contained in several tons of rock. Those tailings create a giant pile outside the gold mine. The gold in this context is the learning that comes from understanding why the year unfolded the way it did. You want to extract the learning, which is the gold, and leave behind the tons of worthless, heavy self-criticism and recrimination and regret. The tons of rock and tailings will weigh you down and add no value to your portfolio or your life. So you want to ask the question, why did things not turn out the way you wanted? Why? Just those 3 letters. Was it factors out of your control? Or did you not have all the necessary skills or resources in your team to get the job done? And that may be too, but as Tony Robbins says, we generally don't lack resources. What we lack is resourcefulness. Dennis Waitley said, you've got 2 primary choices in life: to accept conditions as they exist, or to accept responsibility for changing them. If you're a victim of circumstance and you adopt the posture of a victim, then you'll fail, but you'll have a long list of really good excuses. So we like to use the term unreasonable, which is to say we don't rely on reasons. There are no reasons. You either did it or you didn't. Like Yoda said in the movie Star Wars, do or do not, there is no try. So you have a choice this weekend. You can spend time surfing social media, watching a football game. And nothing wrong with that. I love to watch the Dallas Cowboys. But maybe some people will use that quiet time this weekend to get introspective, to prepare for goal setting for 2022. We're not running a public goals program this year, but there are a number of excellent goal setting programs out there. My friend Robert Helms at the Real Estate Guys radio show has an event being held in the first week of January in Lake Las Vegas. I've attended it in the past, and I can tell you that it's outstanding and it will change your life. I can say that with complete conviction. If you want to find out more about it, visit realestateguysradio.com and go under their events page. You'll learn more about it. Michael Hyatt also has an excellent online goal setting program. I've used his tools in the past as well, and I'm not being paid to recommend either of these. These are just 2 that I have firsthand experience with that I highly recommend. So running the retrospective on 2021 is the first step in preparation for goal setting for 2022. This is an exercise I highly recommend you undertake. As you think about that, have an awesome rest of your weekend. Go make some great things happen, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.